celebrated my 10th anniversary at Microsoft, and I've been in this industry for over 20 years now. And I can say that this is the most exciting time to be in tech. So AI is obviously not new, right? It's been around for quite some time. It's powering search. It's giving everyone shopping recommendations when you buy online, movie recommendations on YouTube, on Netflix, and of course there are many AI virtual assistants out there, such as Siri, Cortana, and it's so ubiquitous that AI has become so second nature in our digital lives that we often don't realize or even recognize it. From the era of artificial narrow intelligence, ANI, using AI to address very specific, very narrow domains and problem sets, to now artificial general intelligence, AGI, we're moving from AI autopilot to AI co-pilot, with AI being your virtual assistant to help you achieve more with less. Now, this is actually a soundbite from Satya Nadella, Microsoft CEO, at the largest developer conference for Microsoft last week, where he said AI is taking the computer age from the bicycle to the steam engine. Now, a bit of a history lesson here. Does anyone know who actually described computers as the bicycle for the mind? Does anyone know? Perhaps you can try in the chat window. It really shows your age if you know the answer. Anyhow, why don't we turn to Bing and take a look at what Bing has to say about this, right? So this is Bing, and it's obviously powered by the latest version of GPT, which is GPT-4. And this is my Edge browser, right? So on the right-hand side, I'm actually pulling in Bing as my virtual assistant, right? So this is my co-pilot for the web. And I basically said, hey, who actually described computers as a bicycle for the mind, right? And within just a few seconds, Bing actually came back and say, hey, it was actually Steve Jobs who described computers as bicycles for the mind in a 1984 interview with Newsweek. Now, the most powerful thing here is that not only did Bing give me a very human-like response, it also included a bunch of citations, right? So I know exactly where the source of information is coming from. So within just a click of the mouse, I can actually say, oh, why don't you take me to this place where I could learn more about what Steve Jobs actually said. So I can click uctoday.com, and on the left-hand side of my screen, I'm taken straight to the screen. I'm taken straight to the website where I can learn more about Steve Jobs' interview. This is very powerful, right? So ChatGPT, right? We talked a lot about ChatGPT, and it's the fastest growing app of all time. In fact, you know what? ChatGPT actually crossed 100 million users in just 2 months. Now, let's put things in perspective, right? It took 9 months for TikTok to reach 100 million. It took 2.5 years for Instagram to get there. And in a much earlier era of the web, Google and Facebook actually took 5 years each to reach 100 million users, right? So why is it so hot? Why is it so popular? Well, of course, there are 3 things, right? One, ChatGPT actually understands human language like never before, right? And it generates human-like responses. It's the closest thing that we've ever gotten to artificial general intelligence. Secondly, I think it has been used by many different applications beyond our imagination, right? So whether you're a student, you are a frontline worker and whatnot, I'm pretty sure that you can find different ways to make good use of ChatGPT. And finally, I think the reason why it's so popular is because the tech is very accessible, right? It takes just a natural language prompt, and it's just a matter of seconds, you get a very human-like response. And I think Mr. Lagos will have a session on Python and ChatGPT later this afternoon. So make sure you stick around for that. Well, and thanks to the exclusive partnership between Microsoft and OpenAI, we're actually making ChatGPT available to everyone here in Hong Kong, right? So now, earlier this year, we actually made a few major announcements by working very closely with one of the Microsoft partners here in Hong Kong. And we're supporting one of the government entities to handle consumer complaint cases, right? So if you send in a complaint letter to the government saying, hey, I got ripped off by this company, A, B, C, and D, right? Behind the scenes, ChatGPT, GPT is at work to actually help draft the responses to you and also to the company that you wish to complain about. So it's tremendously powerful, and the government entity is actually making use of this platform to handle roughly 30 to 40,000 complaint cases on a yearly basis. Now that leads me to the next slide, which talks about the partnership between OpenAI and Microsoft. The reason why the two companies came together to form this partnership is because we share a very powerful vision to empower everyone on Earth to achieve more, right? So we're trying to make use of AI to amplify human ingenuity. And together, I think the shared vision is about really democratizing artificial intelligence and make AI more accessible than ever, and how we can actually leverage AI to improve everyone's productivity and help you do more with less. Got this really powerful soundbite quote here. This is actually a tweet from Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, right? And you know what? The entire OpenAI, whether it's GPT, ChatGPT, DALL-E, and whatnot, are all powered by Microsoft Azure. All the training models are done on Microsoft Azure, right? So Sam actually said in this tweet that they could not have done this without this unique partnership, and they actually built the whole OpenAI infrastructure completely on Microsoft Azure Cloud. So the Microsoft Cloud is actually very unique in that in terms of breadth and depth of the cloud solutions that we provide, right? So we can actually use our cloud solutions on a standalone basis, or actually take advantage of the seamless way we've integrated and architected them to work really, really well together, right? So there are a couple of things that you can do. One here is we are actually delivering the tools and services you need to build your very intelligent apps, your AI apps, services using Azure AI. And secondly, will help you radically accelerate your productivity and capability by leveraging transformational AI built into every Microsoft Cloud solution through our built-in AI Copilot system. So here's the full portfolio of our AI offering. The Azure AI services are actually designed to make it easy for developers, right, for students, for everyone here, to add AI capabilities to your applications without the need for extensive expertise in AI. We're making it extremely easy, extremely accessible to everyone here. So from our first party, so if you look at the top of the stack here, right, from our first party applications, such as Microsoft 365, AKA Microsoft Office, and Dynamics 365, our CRM and ERP solutions, we are adding AI capabilities through our Copilot system across Microsoft Cloud to help you do more with less. So moving down, these are like apps and platforms that we have for our business users who may not have any expertise and background in AI. Right? So if you look at Power BI, Power Apps, Power Automate, allowing you to automate your workflow, Power BI allowing you to visualize your data. We're adding all these AI capabilities to help you be more productive at work. So there are also apps, and these are essentially apps and platforms that we have for business users who may not have any expertise and background in AI. And we want to make AI more accessible to everyone. And for the more technical audience, right, the developers the data scientists, we have all kinds of AI services, including vision, speech, translation services, and whatnot, and models that can empower you guys to build the most intelligent applications. And Azure OpenAI Service is just one of the many things that we have. So let's zoom in a little bit and take a look at the four main pillars, right? The four key components within this partnership between OpenAI and Microsoft. On the left-hand side, obviously, we have GPT, right? For text generation. It's essentially a set of large language models that can understand and generate a natural language. Right? So you can, it's actually really good at, for example, summarizing content. So here I've got a natural language prompt here, asking GPT to help me summarize this personal finance article in 2 sentences, and boom, within just 2 seconds, I get a very human-like response. Codex, not sure if you know, Microsoft actually owns GitHub, right? Codex is a set of models that understand and generate code, right? Including translating natural language to code. Earlier this year, we announced GitHub Copilot X, which basically allows you to code using natural language, right? So it's a descendant of GPT-3 that's been trained on both natural language and code. DALL-E is a set of models that can generate or manipulate images from natural language. So I'm pretty sure you've tried DALL-E or maybe other image generation AI tools such as Midjourney, perhaps, right? So here I've got a prompt asking DALL-E to create a ball of fire with vibrant colors to show the speed of innovation, right? And this is what I got back from DALL-E. And finally, ChatGPT, which is optimized for understanding and generating text in a conversation setting. And just last week, right? This is new, marking a significant step in forward in AI-powered search. Microsoft just announced at Microsoft Build last week that it's integrating Bing with OpenAI's ChatGPT. This is a big deal because ChatGPT's training data only includes information up until 2021, right? Now, with ChatGPT featuring Bing as its default search engine, it can actually provide users with a search experience that delivers more timely and up-to-date answers. This integration also integrates ChatGPT to ground its responses, just like how you saw in my second slide, asking Bing asking Bing to tell me who actually described computers as the bicycle for the mind, right? You actually got all these links and it tells you where all of the information is coming from, right? So now with Bing and ChatGPT fully integrated, right, this actually enables ChatGPT to ground its responses in search and web data, allowing everyone to receive citations and learn more directly within their chat conversations. I would like to share a pretty cool story of 2 university students, Siddhant and Utkarsh, making use of Microsoft AI to clean up our oceans. So not only the interesting story here is, Clearbot, they are actually a member of our Founders Hub program and also a recipient of our AI for Good grant. They've built a fleet of robotic boats that run on solar-powered electric motor, and it relies on Microsoft Azure AI for training and for computer vision to basically help clean up harbors and rivers to keep plastic trash out of the ocean. Not only is Microsoft a technology enabler, but we also wish to make use of the depth and the breadth of our network and ecosystem to connect startups with our customers. These are actually pictures taken at our experience center in our Hong Kong office in Cyberport. We're actually more than happy to showcase your winning solution from this hackathon if you can actually make use of Microsoft AI technologies. So do let us know. Do come to us if you wish to amplify the AI projects that you're building. So I would like to close with a soundbite again from Satya Nadella, our CEO. Our industry does not respect tradition. It only respects innovation. I cannot wait to see your innovation. I cannot wait to see what you can use, how you can use technology to solve some of the world's toughest problems. With all these evolution in AI, the question is not about what technology can do for each and every single one of us. It's all about what we can actually do with technology. So the opportunity is yours to lead the AI transformation. And with that, I'll pass the time back to Kian. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Harris, for that wonderful speech about Microsoft and AI. So now let's welcome Mr. Lagos, who is the STEM coordinator of CIS, to introduce and give us talk about the rules of the hackathon.
Perfect. Thank you, Kian. I'm going to go over some of the basic information that you will all need to be able to participate, submit, and understand this year's hackathon. I'd like to give you a brief sort of history of the hackathon. This is the third year that we've run it, and usually what we had is a theme. And then within the theme, there's been solutions that have been proposed with that theme for a panel of judges. This year, we've changed it a little bit, but we still have a theme. So our theme for this year is a world reimagined. A lot of what we're looking for is in the advancements of AI over the last year. We'd like to see innovative solutions to specific real world problems. Now, a quick overview of what it looks like. Well, we have a few keynotes and some workshops. Workshops are all optional for you to attend. Thank you for those of you that attended today for a keynote, and thank you to Harris, who did an amazing job. We have about 75 participants this year, which is a great number, more than other years. You and your team can attend any of the workshops later today or any of the presentations from the companies. All of them will be recorded, however, so you can go to our website. You'll be able to get them there. We'll give you an update on WhatsApp as well whenever those recordings go up. So this first week, we have today, in which we're showing the problem statements, what the companies would like solutions for. Tomorrow's just a work day. You and your team get together. You have a work day throughout the week. Then next Saturday, we'll meet again. We'll have a few workshops on presentations and answer questions on sort of last minute things that you might have. And then finally on next Sunday, we will have submissions and presentations for each one of the companies. Today, we'll have a few guests who will be presenting. Right after me will be Michelle and Henry, who will present the problem statement and a power session for Microsoft. And they'll be taking us through what is the specific real world problem for Microsoft. How does the competition work though? Well, there's teams, about 2 to 6 people. You have to pick one problem, or you have to pick one company. So imagine that the company that you pick as your client and you're solving something for them. Each one of the companies has a different problem statement. Ideally, you only pick one, but if you'd like to pick more than one, that's up to your team. We are not going to limit you. We are recommending that you pick one problem and make one solution, however, and then you will present your solution next week. Again, if you make more than one solution, then you're being a bit ambitious that way, which again, we don't recommend. But if you do, then you'll have to make multiple presentations. And if you guys have any questions as I'm going through this right now, please put them on the chat. I'd be happy to answer them. What are our prices? Something that is usually not the most exciting part of the hackathon. We find that every year the solutions and working with friends and creating something is much more exciting, but it is nice to get a reward at the end. So the prices are in Hong Kong dollars equivalent. So there's an overall winner that our team at CISX Ideas will pick, which will get an equivalent of 5,000 Hong Kong. Second place is 3,000 and third place is 2,000. And that's for the whole team. The whole team shares that price. In previous years, some teams have just donated this. Other teams have asked for different computer equipment or different applications that they might be able to buy, different subscriptions, anything that will help you in your future career with programming. We're happy to offer it. But again, you share that price with your team. Some of you will be featured in offices and websites for your winning creations. Microsoft, like Harris mentioned, has agreed to display the winning solution, if it's up to par, depending on the quality of it, in their innovation center. And then Gossip and Butler Asia, which are two startups from Hong Kong, they have agreed to, again, depending on the quality of the submissions, but if they are great submissions and they are picked by that company, then you'll continue with an internship for that company over the summer, which really just means that you're going to implement the solution that you create over this week. We believe keeping those doors open after the hackathon is something that we've been trying to work on for the last few years. Previously, we had students who created great products and then they submitted them and then there was no work done afterwards, which is sort of a classical hackathon problem. This year, we've created the hackathon at the end of the school year so that you can continue with that work over the summer. And hopefully some of your schoolwork doesn't get in the way of being able to work that. And then you can add that to your resume and also actually implement these solutions out in the wild. What do we recommend? We recommend that you have roles within your teams. We recommend that there's some programmers in your team, and then there's a project manager, and then there's some of you who work on the presentation and slides, and some of you who work on the design and the UI and the documentation. We don't recommend that you have 5 programmers all at once. I think it would be hard for all of you to sort of have the same skills. So if you don't know how to code within your team, that's completely okay. You can find a very good role within that. If you are excited about programming, we recommend that you work with people that you know closely. All of you already have a team, which is great. If you are by yourself, you're going to have to do all of these things. So we don't recommend that. And we ask that perhaps you find somebody else at your school who would like to join. It's not too late as long as you're here. How does it work though? So you attend each one of the product problem statements throughout today, Microsoft, Gossip, Butler, Asia. At the end of the day, we're going to send out a form. You and your team are going to fill it out. You're going to say, this is the company that I like to work for. And then over the next week, we'll continue to communicate with you and send you updates on how you're going to submit, when you're going to present, what time you're going to present, and so on. But that really depends on who picks who picks which companies. Perhaps one company will be really popular, perhaps it'll all be evened out. We're not sure yet. We really want to give you that freedom. Today, later on, make sure to attend the problem statements from Gossip by Lewis and Jonathan. Gossip will be at 2:30 p.m. Hong Kong time, and then Jonathan for Butler Asia is going to be at 4:30 p.m. They will be here on the same link. Again, it will be super helpful for you to join every one of the company problem statement pitches so that you can ask questions and make sure that you understand exactly what's being asked of you. You can solve these problems in any way that you have skills for. So if you know how to make websites, go for it. If some of you don't know how to make websites, but perhaps you know how to make applications or know how to code, say only in Python, this is a great opportunity for you to continue to build your skills. But we know we've had lots of very talented students in the past join the hackathon, so we know that you'll be able to do a great job. Okay. Before I move on, and we'll have a power session by Microsoft soon, short break, are there any specific questions that you might have so far on the hackathon? Go ahead and write them on the chat. I'll give you a few minutes to write those questions and be happy to answer them out loud. It seems like there's no questions so far. Hopefully things are clear on the schedule for today, the events that are happening today, and then what we expect from the hackathon. Again, you can take part in the hackathon by programming, by presenting, by being a project manager, find a role within your team. Once we are in the power sessions and the problem statements from the company, make sure to use the chat, or we've opened up the microphones. You can go ahead and speak up whenever. If you have a question, we'd be happy to answer those. We'll have a short break right now. Again, if you still have a question, go ahead and ask for that anytime during the sessions or during the break. We'll have a short 5-minute break, and then we'll have our first problem statement power session of the day, which will be by Microsoft at 9:45 here on this channel. Give me a second. Hopefully you guys do have access to the chat. If not, you can speak up and you can ask any questions out loud. We'll work on making sure that you have access to the chat during the break. Okay. Yep, we'll have a short break. We'll be back at 9:45 with Microsoft. Okay, perfect. So we're going to have Henry and Michelle in a second shows a great session on Microsoft tools and the problem saver for Microsoft. Again, I'm not sure the settings for the chat for this channel. If you are disabled, or if your chat's disabled, sorry, please use the WhatsApp group to set any questions, or, which I would highly suggest, is that you use the microphone. Just raise your hand and use the microphone. It'll make it much more interactive to be able to ask questions that way. If you don't feel comfortable using microphone, then send your questions through the WhatsApp channel. Thanks, Michelle, and thanks, Henry. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Edwin, for introducing us. So let me pull it back here first. So hi, everyone. This is Michelle. Henry and I are both from the partner team in Microsoft Hong Kong. I'm the partner development manager of Digital Natives. Basically, it means startups. Any startups are doing their own software solution. And Henry, would you like to introduce yourself here as well?
Sure thing. Thank you, Michelle. This is Henry. I'm a cloud solution architect in Microsoft. So my focus area is on modern work, which means that we use tools to help people to work easier and better. Yeah, so I'll be taking over on the part when I talk about the Microsoft tools that you can use, and maybe give you some hints or ideas on what are the ideas that you might be able to develop during this hackathon. Yeah, over to you, Michelle.
Yes, thank you, Henry. So, and also happy Saturday morning. Happy to see everyone, and also a hackathon session. Wish I had these when I was in high school as well. Yeah, so let's dive straight right into the power session. So I'll start with introducing Azure OpenAI. So just now you've heard Harris introduce about the newest updates, and I'll also leave more time for doing a few demos, as a lot of them are quite exclusive. So please stay tuned. And then Henry will introduce more about the Copilot functions in Microsoft 365. Basically, we are aiming to integrate all of the OpenAI capabilities into our product. So you would get to see a few demonstrations about that as well. And then the third part would be a Power Platform introduction. So Power Platform is our low code, no code solution. So for people who don't know how to code, do Python, you can also build your own apps. So we will also have a demo session about that as well. Then we will save some time for any questions that you guys have, and also share more about what Microsoft is thinking in terms of AI transformation. Okay, so I would like a raise of hands. Not sure if you guys can do this with the React button. Has anyone, why does it keep jumping? Oh, it keeps jumping. Wait, that's weird. Okay, yep, it's okay now. Using the React button, has anyone used GPT related services before? So it can be ChatGPT accessed via OpenAI, an OpenAI account. Oh, I see one hand already. Or Notion AI, other tools that are even not Microsoft. Oh, I see a lot of raise of hands. Yeah, or even Bing AI. Okay, that's great. So you guys already know and also tried this function as well. So why is it really exciting for us is because I think most of you guys have used GPT-3 model, which is the chat completion model of the OpenAI model. But there's also Codex, which is a natural language to code model, and also DALL-E, so it generates images. So we aim to integrate these into Azure because the OpenAI language learning, the OpenAI model is also built on Azure. And to see how we can provide new use cases and also help different enterprises to use AI better. Okay, so throwing back a bit about what AI actually is and the history of AI and why suddenly it has become the top trend this year. Maybe you guys have recalled, actually last year the focus would be more on metaverse or maybe Web3, as you guys have heard, but entering 2023, I think everyone is talking about ChatGPT nowadays. Yeah, so throwing back a bit about the history of AI, actually artificial intelligence started in the 1950s and 60s. So when the researchers start to think about about the possibility of creating machines that could think like humans. So at that time, researchers and scientists developed early versions of what are known as expert systems. So basically, they mimic the decision-making abilities of human experts in a specific domain. So we aimed to use statistical methods and also mathematical models to solve problems in the early stage of AI development. Then throwing a bit later to maybe 2000s and 1990s. So at that time, AI research continued to evolve. And one of the subfields is called machine learning. So machine learning focuses on creating algorithms that allows computers to learn from data without being explicitly programmed. Yeah, so another subset that you may have heard would be the neural networks. So they are mathematical models that are inspired by the structure and the functions of the human brain. So basically, the machine can learn like a human. Yep. Yeah, and deep learning is also one of the subsets. And then coming to 2021 is actually when OpenAI started to gain more traction, or was in discussion with Microsoft. Came generative AI. So generative models like GPT-3 and DALL-E, they are able to generate new examples that are similar to a given data set. So they can create new content basically. So it can be used in a lot of different fields like NLP, natural language processing, computer vision, speech recognition, and many more. Yep. So these models are actually very useful because they are not able to only maybe differentiate or also classify different data, but they can also create new data, new information, which gives us a lot more scenarios where we can use this on. Yep, so I believe Harris also showed this slide just now. So basically there are three models that we would like to introduce to you. So you can see here GPT, actually now it's already GPT-4. We've updated, the slide is not yet updated, but basically you can see the GPT model is for text completion. Then it is a model that can understand and generate natural language. So here you can see the prompt is to create a tagline for an ice cream shop. And then it came a very engaging tagline. But of course, in the prompt, you can write a lot more detail in to make the response longer or also more personalized to what you actually need. So later we'll also give some examples, but this is a very, very important technique called prompt engineering as to how you can write your natural language prompt so that that machine can understand and also generate the answer that you want. So the second part is Codex. So Codex is a set of models that can understand and generate code. So it includes translating natural language to code and also recommending how you can write code better or what your next line of code is, as it is writing along with you. So it understands it tries to understand what you've been doing by reading your previous code, so it can give you the better recommendations. Yes, so Codex is actually a descendant of the GPT model that is trained on both natural language and code, so it can understand both. So here you can see and this is a SQL query prompt. So you can see after entering what you want, it actually gives you the commands for the SQL query. So the last one is DALL-E. So this one is also very limited access right now, even for our enterprise customers. The model is very limited now. So it's a set of models that can generate or manipulate images from natural language, and it is really, really fun. Okay, so moving on. So you can see actually the AI family in Microsoft is quite extensive and has been here quite a long time. But now we've added OpenAI service into this bucket as well, so that the solution architects can also leverage on OpenAI's model to create their own custom models. So previously, we've already had vision, speech, language, and decision. Basically, we have our own machine learning models, but now we added OpenAI service as one of the choices as well. And for our own products like Word, Teams, even Teams, Outlook, actually we're slowly integrating these capabilities into the products as well, which Henry will show more. It's really cool, like meeting summarizations and also how you can write your emails better. So this, you can see that, and also different products that you may know of, like LinkedIn, where we can find more information about the job market, and also Bing. Bing AI is, I think you guys can also enroll it right now. Yeah, it's really cool. So it incorporates the OpenAI model along with the search results on Bing. So it's really, really helpful if you want to find anything online. Yep. So here we would like to show that actually you can do a lot of things with Azure OpenAI. And I think in the context of this hackathon, you may brainstorm how you may utilize it to help different startups. Because to be honest, in my day-to-day job of interacting with startups, we are still in the very early stage of exploring what use cases the market actually needs. So the technology is very capable. You guys may use it to research for your essays or plan your study schedule. But in a business context, a lot of people are still evaluating the costs and the benefits. So that's why they need to think of the best scenarios and use cases to use this technology. So I think with these capabilities in mind, you may also think about how it can help the startups, as this wasn't really available last year. So it's a really new and exciting technology that you can leverage on. So to list a few examples, like content generation. Wait a second. For example, if you want to make some marketing copies or email taglines, and here you can see the call center analytics with the caller online. It can actually generate the call script that may best suit best respond the caller's needs. So virtual assistants in malls or concierges, you don't need a real person to do so. With Azure OpenAI and GPT, it is actually possible to just cater the incoming visitors or customers already. So another use case you may think would be summarization. So in terms of call centers, this is very useful again. So no matter how long the call is, it will summarize the content, analyze the customer sentiment, extract the key information you need to tackle or maybe document back on your system really quickly. Yeah, so other examples include product and service feedback and also social media trends. The third case you may think of would be code generation, which is relevant to the Codex model that I mentioned. So you can input natural language into code, and then natural language into SQL queries, and even next line recommendations. So basically, you can treat this Azure OpenAI as a co-pilot to what you're doing when you're coding. And the last one would be semantic search, which is really interesting as well. So for example, when reading a line of product feedback, it can analyze the sentiment of the customer, whether they're angry, happy, or satisfied. It's very, very useful as well to in the risk analysis, to see maybe the social media trends or keywords that are sensitive, and see and strategize how we can handle these kinds of situations. Yep. So one common thing that you can see throughout these use cases would be the contact centers or call centers. And I would say this is also one of the most immediate use cases that different startups think of when they first heard of this technology, because it's across all industries. If you have if your need in customer service or phone calls, this is already applicable. So to illustrate, you can classify, for example, which team is responsible for these types of calls or queries, and then you can do sentiment analysis. For example, you can prioritize to handle angry customers first. And then you can also summarize the transcript, the call transcript, and the content of the whole phone call, and also generate a decent customer response. Yeah, so sometimes there have been some memes online saying that you can just type a very honest sentence on ChatGPT and make it work appropriate so that you can send it out to your colleagues or in your work emails. So this is actually true as well in terms of contact centers, especially when you are external facing. It's very important to have the appropriate language and response. Okay, so diving right into more examples. Yeah, so here you can see a sample use case of the information extraction and summarization. So here you can see a customer conversation. It should be by phone call. So you can see it's very colloquial. And then you can see the Azure OpenAI prompt. So it tells OpenAI to extract the key information of the car accident, and then how did the agent handle the conversation, and final outcome, and generate a short summary. And then it immediately gives you the output. So you can imagine how much time is saved that you don't need to go through it one by one and just listen to the transcript, and then you need to type and also process and think. So all of these is already done by Azure OpenAI. So as a human, what we can do is improve the decision making. So with these information available to us right now, what is your next move? So this is where how we and the Azure OpenAI technology can actually come together. So you can see the improved decision making, increase efficiency, and also perhaps enhance customer experience as well, because it shortens the whole time of waiting for the response. Yeah, so here you can see here we in the meta prompt, what we call the meta prompt is actually the big instructions that you or the assumptions that you give the Azure OpenAI model. So with this architecture in the meta prompt, you can ask it to extract the information in the caller agent conversation. So here we use the same car accident report, and then you can see the output is by JSON. So it's not only natural language. Yeah, so here you can see it's very useful in summarization as well. And not only that, you can translate this into different languages. Chinese is also possible. Yep. And then the next sample use case would be the Codex model. Not sure if you guys have heard of GitHub Copilot. I believe you guys know GitHub already. Yeah, but GitHub Copilot is actually a new module that draws the context from the code you are working on that you're writing, and then it will suggest whole lines or entire functions. So when you're typing your code, GitHub Copilot, which is built on the Codex model, it will adapt to the way that you're writing code and help you complete your work faster. So that's why it's really helpful. So you don't need to scroll through it, scroll through all the code manually line by line. It can tell you where it's wrong, and also recommend you at the next lines. And here, I would like to share two real business cases in Hong Kong where they're actually using OpenAI, Azure OpenAI already. So this case is actually the case that Harris has mentioned in the opening remarks about AI complaint management. Yeah, so I think you guys can see how this is being implemented into real life, because a lot of the high level scenarios that I mentioned before, it can be really exciting, but it takes time for different teams to learn how to incorporate it into a business situation. Yep, so let us look into this AI complaint management demo first. Yep, just to check in, you guys can hear the audio, right? Yeah, but there are the subtitles. But if you can hear the audio, give me a thumbs up. Okay, you can hear the audio. Yeah. So you can see this is actually a real use case that has already been used. So you can summarize the whole customer complaint, and then with the sentiment analysis, you can see it categorize the level of severity. Yep, and which departments this case should be routed to. So normally, I assume this may be like 1 hour or at least 30 minutes to 1 hour man-hour job, but it's actually being streamlined really quickly. So the person who does the decision making can handle a lot more cases per day. Yep. And then another case that I would like to share with you is by SleekFlow. So SleekFlow is a startup in Hong Kong that does omni-channel chat solutions. So what does this mean? Basically, in the SleekFlow platform, it integrates WeChat, Instagram, Facebook, Line, so all types of different channels where you can get customer queries, where you communicate with your customers, handle sales. So this is an integrated platform, you may say, and it is very convenient when you want to allocate different cases to your customer success team or to your sales team. So its strength is in integrating all of these platforms. So now you can see with ChatGPT for what they have done to enhance their solution. Okay, let's go. So you can see it is really helpful. So in the past, it only integrates all of the platforms into the same, all of the different communication channels into the same platform, right? But now it can also help the sales or the customer success manager to generate a good response, summarize all the conversations and pass it to another colleague. So you don't need to type it out. You just need to ask the Azure OpenAI to do so. And you can also alter the tone, make it longer, shorter, more friendly, more professional. And also another interesting case would be this one, this chatbot. So you can see just now one of the screenshots, it mentioned that it controls the answers to be within a certain database, so that if it is apart from, for example, apart from SleekFlow's products, you cannot answer anything else, not even Microsoft products, for example. Yeah, so you have the capability to limit this as well, because with using Azure OpenAI, you can actually feed in different PDFs and also databases to the Azure OpenAI model, and then you can also control the output. So for example, I cannot mention certain types of information. Yep, so here I would like to quickly go through one or two demos for you guys. Wait a second. Yep, so let me go through two of the demos. So here you can, I assume you can see my screen. Yeah, give me a thumbs up if you can see it again. Yeah, so this is the Azure AI Studio, Azure OpenAI Playground as well. Yep, oh great, so you can see it. Yeah, so here you can see there are three columns, and I'll go through them really quickly. So here you can see the assistant setup where we can type the meta prompt. Basically, what you are setting up the whole model to understand the situation that they're in. So here I just use a default one. You're an AI assistant that helps people to find information. And then in the second column, you can see the chat session where I actually entered a prompt. So, okay, tell me the history of AI development. Okay, so here in the third column, you can see different parameters and configurations. So here you can see the maximum tokens of the response. So tokens are the currency of Azure OpenAI answers. So 1 token equals to 4 English characters. So here I just set it to shorter, 816 tokens. Okay, so temperature actually controls, here the second one, it controls the randomness of the model's response. So the maximum is 1. So 1 means that it will be more creative and more unexpected, and 0 means that it's deterministic. So I'll just put it to, yeah, in the middle. Yeah, and then top P is another way to control the randomness of the model's response. So lowering the top P actually limits the model's token selections. So it means that it can also be more random. Yep. But I saw I think people only recommend to adjust either one. Yeah, to be more, yeah, this is a best practice. Yeah, they just recommend to adjust either one. So here in the bottom, you can see frequency and presence penalties. So for example, you don't want a certain phrase to appear more than 5 times. So you are able to adjust this right here. Okay, so I'll send this prompt out. Tell me the history of AI development. Yes, and you can see the answer is generated right here. Yeah, so voice assistants like Siri, Alexa to driving cars. So it gave me a response. And then another example that I would like to show is how it limits the answers that in different scenarios. For example, now you can see I'm an Xbox customer support agent. Yeah, so wait, let me clear this first. Yeah, so you're an Xbox customer support agent, and you only provide factual answers to queries and do not provide answers that are not related to Xbox. Okay, so now I'll type what is the price of an Xbox controller. Yeah, so it says that it depends on the model and where you purchase it from. So this is USD on the 60 USD in the Microsoft official website. Okay, so another example would be tell me the top 10 PS4 games that are bestsellers of all time. And then you can see it's a very decent response. It apologizes, but as an Xbox customer support engine, and they only support Xbox devices. Yeah, so it doesn't answer my question. So from maybe Notion AI or Bing Chat or OpenAI that you guys can access, I think it doesn't give out these kinds of response because this requires customization and also assistant setup. So you can imagine when it is deployed in a company-wide scale, this is very useful in limiting what the chatbot actually answers back. So it's very useful and helpful to control the responses as well. And then the last interesting demo I would like to show you would be DALL-E. Yeah, no, I think another equivalent on the market would be Midjourney. Yeah, so this is actually, my dad saw me testing out this morning, and then he told me to write down this prompt when he was trying breakfast. Yeah, so you can see with different, I have altered these prompts throughout these 3 attempts, and you can see the style, the drawings have changed slightly. Yeah, and then in the prompt, because recently I'm really into Hogwarts Legacy, so you can see I've typed in a very detailed prompt about drawing a photorealistic drawing of Hogwarts from Harry Potter, and then the season needs to be in autumn, and I need to have a hippogriff in the background. So the scene needs to be captured from a higher point of view with cinematic lighting. So I'm being really picky. And okay, let's generate the image, see what it draws. Yeah, so here I would like to highlight another thing about prompt engineering is that you need to be very clear, as if you are talking to someone who doesn't understand or has no context about what you're about to say. Yeah, so here you can see a very majestic drawing. Yeah. Also, you can adjust this, for example, with maybe 4K resolution and cozy watercolor illustration, for example. Yeah, and then you can see the image generated will be different. Yeah, so here I just want to highlight. Yeah, you can see it's still Hogwarts, still have hippogriffs, but the feel is completely different. Yeah, so I just want to highlight that it's very important to type your prompt well. Yeah, and then I think my last remarks would be here. Yes. So some suggestions to when you guys are using OpenAI or these kinds of tools in the future is through prompt design. So there are three things you can bear in mind. So is to show and tell, to have clear instructions of what you want the model to do. And then secondly is to give quality data. So in the future, if it is not only for some very immediate quick searches, you need to make sure to input the right data so that you can know what to respond to you. And then the third one would be to check your settings. So for example, just now in the token settings or maybe the randomness settings. So in different scenarios, maybe later on when you prototype, make sure to bear these in mind. Yep, so this is the end of my part. And if you have any questions about this part, we can save it later. Yeah, then I'll pass the time to Henry.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm taking the control here. Yeah, so do let me know if you cannot hear me or you did not see my screen. Okay, so yeah, very fruitful sharing from Michelle on what are the tools that or what are the platform or the AI service that Microsoft provided the market or partners use. But so my part will mainly focus on, okay, so you see the tools now. So, that we think so first of all, it's to unleash the creativity. That means that you don't have to start from scratch. We all know that when you write an essay or you're preparing a presentation is always the hardest to start from the beginning if you're looking at the empty white page, right? So the powerful thing for AI or the things that we're putting into our productivity suites or we call Office like PowerPoint, Word, Excel is actually we use AI, the capability we call Copilot, that we have the slide track that helps you to start everything over. So for example, when I was preparing this presentation, I have no idea where to start. So I go that, okay, I want to present your capability to high school students about about AI demo. What can you do? So what can I start? So here you can see it's actually helping me to start from my scratch to see what's the capability that Finch has able to do and what will be a funny thing that high school student might be interested in. Okay. Interesting. So let's say, okay, can you create a hero name after Hong Kong and design 5 superpower that using dim sum, for example, like very random. So as you can see here, Bing Chat is of course is backed by GPT. It immediately gave me name of superhero. Can earn himself something. Just like is created in time, even as an inventory. All right. So it it's integrating both the GPT model and the DALL-E model that backed up after that. So after that, I can even the more Marvel style. Yeah, Marvel style. And new information. And so so the positioning of Microsoft trying to do this is to picture the AI to be our co-pilot, the one who assists to finish our job, not taking your job, but is helping you to do your job better and an easier way. So this is one of the take. And another one is words. Let's try to play this. All right. So another really great example about Copilot or what Microsoft trying to do with AI is actually using your document, using your own notes to finish or to make a summary of your document, so you don't have to make your own. So I'm pretty sure you all have been through writing an essay or prepare a presentation, and you have to write an executive summary, and it's just very troublesome when you're trying to compress all the content of your 50 pages essay and the AI even with those that you might you. So spirits here that it actually help you from scratch. That's the spirits. All right. The second one is it's about productivity. So the first one is that we don't have to start from scratch. The second is that because we are in the era of information, that we take a lot of different information, a lot of buzz every day. So how can we summarize it and make those data, make those information into actionable here? We are in this button called catch up with Copilot. So when you have one email and you press this, and AI or Copilot will help you to summarize what are the most important things that you might be interested in and you might need to take action on, and even helping you to draft the reply that you might need to do. So like in here, I can use on my mobile phone and I can summarize. That's the best part. I love it so much. We can summarize the very, very long email thing. Make sure that we can do the action and reply to our message in no time. So these kind of things are actually Microsoft bringing the AI capability to our existing service, that we're trying to use the generative AI, the capability of generative AI to do better, right? And the last thing is to up level skills. So these are the spirit of this one, is that we're trying to improve and do the things that you're already good at even better and help you to learn. So I personally use this a lot. So Microsoft had a lot of products. So my focus area is on PowerPoint, Excel, Word, Teams, Windows, and Microsoft as a very huge company, we have a lot of different documents, and it's basically impossible for me to memorize everything or even to learn everything. So, but with the AI's help, now I just go to Bing Chat and ask Bing Chat to teach me something. I already have the knowledge of the basic knowledge about, okay, what's the scope of our service, but Bing Chat the capability of Bing Chat is actually helping me to learn new skills or to learn latest updates. And I don't even have to go through tons of different websites or tons of different slides to learn those things. I can just ask Bing Chat to learn it first and ask him to teach me. So that's a very, very cool part. And so the very unique example of this is the GitHub Copilot. So nowadays, more and more programmers are actually using Copilot, GitHub Copilot, to learn a new programming language, whether it's Python, C++, or C# instead. So I'm not gonna show the entire video here, but the spirit here is that you can actually write down in your natural language in Markdown or just asking what kind of library you want to call, or even what's the function, what's the goals that you are trying to achieve. For example, here, create a model for a speaker with name and bio, LinkedIn URL, maybe in HTTP. I have no idea how to do it, but GitHub Copilot can actually scan all the GitHub repository that's public online, and to make sure to analyze those kind of the repository and to copy down what might be the most right solution, what would be the most fitting program, fitting function, or fitting library that fits your needs. Yeah, so these are the things that a lot of programmer are actually benefit from. So as you can see here, it's nearly half of the codes are now written by AI, and our customer, our programming customer, they actually have a really good feedback on once they have this GitHub Copilot, they can never go back because it's too simple, it's too easy. All right, so yeah, that's how what Microsoft takes on AI. And now I want to try to introduce you what can you do that leverage AI in this hackathon. So Michelle and Harris already introduced. We have the solution called Power Platform, and actually your school license actually already have this Power Platform, and it's a low code solution that can help us to develop your solution, not using even you don't know any of the code. You can just, if you have the PowerPoint knowledge to design a PowerPoint, you are more than capable to design your Power Apps on our Power Platform. So I'm gonna play this video because this one it's on Microsoft Mechanics and explains super well. So let's just roll the video. Oh, before I roll out, just a quick, because I don't have the full time to go through this, so I'll just jump over. So this lady is trying to explain how we can use Copilot, how we can use natural language to ask Power Platform to build an app for us. And if not, you can also build on your own, and that's how. Okay, let's see the video. Yep. So these are the what you see is actually we can use natural language. You can see we are using this chatting interface to create an app with a few clicks, right? I don't have enough time to finish the entire video, but if you're interested, please feel free to go to Microsoft Mechanics. It's right here. We have a bunch of video on YouTube that is very helpful for you to build your own app, build your first app on Power Apps. Okay, so lastly, I'm going to address our problem statement right here real quick. So you might heard from Harris or Michelle that Microsoft's mission is actually helping to empower every person and every organization on this planet to achieve more. So in the plain words is that we're trying to make people on this planet to live better or work better or do a better job, right? So here are two problem statements that we are trying to solve recently, and we in the future. First of all, is sustainability, right? So with those strongest generative AI capability we have, how can we use AI to solve the problem related to waste, water, or carbon emission, and other sustainability issue? So a quick example on the approach that Microsoft is taking is that we're building this things called Microsoft Sustainability Manager. So the concept is that we're trying to collect all data points from different vendors, and we transform these data using AI to bring in the insightful, actionable insights that the company or corporate will be able to take action on to reduce emission, to reduce water waste, to reduce carbon emission, whatever it called. So these kind of things are this project is already ongoing by Microsoft, and we're looking for more creative idea, creative project from you guys. So how can we use AI to create a more sustainable world on the planet? That's number one. Number two, with those besides productivity, right? We talk about how we can use AI to bring more productivity, to bring more creativity, to up level your skills. But what about our well-being? So apart from enhancing productivity, what else can we do to use AI to enhance, to increase the employee experience in the workplace? So in sense, we're taking care of not just how you work, not just what you work and how you work it, but also how you feel when you work it. All right. So one of the example here is that we're using, every company have the feedback system from their employee. So the boss will ask the employee, how are we doing recently? What's your opinion on our company strategy and stuff? So those kind of things are normally our questionnaire. So we're building this tool called Viva Glint that use AI to collect feedback from employees and also analysis their sentiment. So here's a video real quick. Yeah, so what you just see is actually we are using AI capability to help the leaders in the company to know how their employees doing and what are the feedbacks from our employees. So these kind of things are very time consuming in the large company, because not only a leader have to design what's the question they have to ask, but they got a lot of feedback. They have to read it and find out what's the actionable item, what's the summary of their feedbacks. So using AI, we can make these kind of experience very quickly and very easy. So that's the take on the topic of employee experience from Microsoft. So to summarize the entire my session, so we're trying to solve two kind of problem within Microsoft. First one, how we can use AI to solve a sustainability issue. The second one is how we can use AI to enhance employee experience, and not in a productivity way, but in a well-being way. Okay, so these are two problem statement that Microsoft prepared for you as well. Yeah, so now I'll end my session right here. So I guess I'll pass my time back to Edwin, is it?
Yeah, thank you so much, Henry and Michelle, for introducing your problem statements. So that is actually it for our opening ceremony today. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating, and we hope that you'll enjoy the rest of the hackathon. So actually, our next session will be at 2:30 p.m. today, where another company gossip will be giving their problem statement, and also there will be a Q&A session. So yeah, that's it for now, and see you all later.